Harvey, from the group XG, has been innovating in this year of 2025. She brought in a first performance, a song that is a 70s rock, and now apparently she went back another 1 or 2 decades, to the 50s, between the 40s and 60s perhaps. Today she brought a classic song from that era, a Japanese song called Tokyo Kid, which is by Hibari Misora, and it talks about the daily life of a young woman who is facing the challenges of the city. A resident who migrated to the city and now needs to face the challenges. It has all that context of the time being commented on in this song. And Harvey is dressed the part, just as she did in the previous song. Here, she is also dressed appropriately. So, let's see what Harvey delivers for us in this song. Her voice is in her nose, but very pronounced in her nose. She uses and naturally has this voice placed in her nose, and also ends up doing the twang technique, which is precisely this voice fully placed in the middle and nasal region. And her vibrato is really impressive here, really showing that XG has a defined technical line, a vocal technical school. Just as I also talk about Baby Monster, which is more focused on blues and jazz. But here it is a line more focused on pop, precisely with this vibrato that is very characteristic, especially in the low notes, which came precisely from the school of American black singers, like Tina Turner, Whitney Houston, more recently Beyoncé, Christina Aguilera, and who, by the way, are artists that they often do covers of. Harvey is showing that she also uses this resource. So, this here is a slide, a glissando, where you do a sequence of notes in a non-cadence way. You do this, not this. Do this. And this ornament is very beautiful. She went to a head voice here, leaving this middle region where she was in her chest, and did it very well. This slide or glissando, she continues doing in several notes, but usually in 2 or 3 notes at the end of some phrases, and quite fast. She has good control over it. Her vibrato is truly impressive, as intense as Joria's and Chisa's, and I would say even more reminiscent of Joria's, because here she is in a mid to low range, and it is a vibrato with a lot of intensity and oscillation, an oscillation that is neither too long nor too short. It is well emphasized. You can notice this balance, which revolves around a quarter tone, Take a whole tone and divide it in half, then divide that half again. So, a quarter tone. So it oscillates the note by a quarter. In addition, there is also this oscillation of intensity and volume that happens. So this volume variation is a cycle of about 7 oscillations per second. In this very emphatic type of vibrato, just like Joria's, and she has been doing in this lower range. And it is very beautiful. There is also a section where she went into head voice again. And she made a very smooth transition from chest to head voice, almost unnoticeable. Her low notes are also good, although here, the playback is very close to her voice. But you can notice some mismatches between her voice and the playback at times, meaning she is really imposing her voice. But the low notes are coming out well. So, the whole atmosphere of that era, her dress like that, and her more restrained dancing. A very beautiful dress, and she looks very beautiful. It's quite interesting because the base of her tongue, she has this nasal voice. And her tongue is here. To place it in the nose, like this, where she has this metallic quality and this brightness typical of this nasal characteristic. Half of her tongue, her whole tongue is like this. Here is the soft palate, the hard palate, and the beginning of the throat. So half of the tongue does this. This part lifts. The tongue stays like this. And the soft palate moves forward. So half of the tongue is here, and the soft palate does this. He is like this, and does this. This configuration creates an opening that really pushes the voice here. It takes away the projection and pushes the voice here. So he makes a curve from here to here. The voice is a bit harsh, not very flexible, especially when it goes to the high notes. This requires her to be able to open up the registers more to execute. For example, we see this in Joria. She also has this natural tendency in her voice, which is characteristic of her timbre. She also places it in the nose, but she opens up to make all the projections. But this is not always so favorable, depending on the song, but here she is managing to make the transitions very well to the head voice and back. It's quite low for her, but you can hear her voice. You can hear the playback, and you can hear her voice with good volume and fit. And the fact that she uses twang, which is this voice opening as I explained earlier, also favors the low notes. And she can maintain this. She maintains this if she is not dancing or performing another activity. She can hold it well. Here, all this melody that I sang stays in this transition from the head voice to her mixed voice. She transitions here. From one note to another, she did it with a lot of ease and with a lot of smoothness. Sometimes she closes her mouth. This is called bocca chiusa in the Italian expression. It literally means closed mouth. And internally, you can raise your tongue, touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth, or keep your mouth closed and keep your tongue down. This will give different characteristics to this sound, to this hum. I can do it just by closing my lips or by raising my tongue. I don't know if the microphone picks up the difference. Open, closed. With the closed technique, I direct it a lot towards the nose, and the sound becomes projected and rounded. And she uses syllables at certain moments with this bocca chiusa, where it seems like she is elevating the base of the tongue. Very good, and everything is very artistic. All of them, until the last second of the performance. When the lights go out, they are doing something or positioning themselves in a different way within the interpretation. They are 100% artists. So Harvey came innovating once again, and my congratulations to her again for this boldness that no one expected, bringing such a different concept to a pop show. And it pleases a lot because it is unexpected. It brings a different vocal demand. And for her, it is definitely very different. This is truly all or nothing. We would never expect Harvey, this rapper with this voice, that is perhaps the most distinctive and unique in the world of rap, to make this kind of music, to do a rock song from the 70s, and then a classic song from the 50s. So it's wonderful. And my congratulations on the performance, which was very good. And I hope, as I always say, that the playback is lowered so we can hear the voice. But that will come with time. What I really want is for them to sing in the most comfortable and relaxed way possible on stage, so they can deliver their best. If you enjoyed this reaction video, leave your like and comment below. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Consider supporting through the super thanks button, or the first pinned comment with the PayPal link. Alright, see you later.